Hello everyone, so today I'm going to give a few tips on what I do in my UI formatting. Basically, because I do lead a lot of raids, there are certain UI changes that I have as I don't use the default. So how do you change your UI? At the very beginning, you simply press Shift F1. When you press Shift F1, all of this mumbo jumbo is going to jump out and you might be a little bit overwhelmed. But don't panic, I'm going to go through each one at a time. So you can disable UI snapping or you can enable it. What UI snapping is basically when you move something, like let's say I'm moving, this is party 2, I can move it like here, I can move it here, whatever. But if I wanted to snap onto party 1 and so I can move them together, I would need to enable UI snapping. Now when I move that here, you see it links together. And once it's connected, when I move it, it moves together as one, as you can see there. So I'll put that back there. So you can enable it or disable it depending on your personal preference. I personally do use it, so but for the sake of this video, because I don't want to mess my UI up too much, I'm going to disable it. So what do I do with my UI? I simply move party 1 and party 2 to the top left corner. Mainly because I don't care about the global buffs that we get. You know, we get some extra EXP sometimes, we get some dungeon buffs and stuff like that. I don't care about any of those, so I cover it up with party 1 and party 2. So you've also noticed that party 2 used to be down here. As you know, this is the default. Party 1 would be up here, party 2 would be down here. But I do it differently. I put party 2 right here. Okay, maybe I do need UI snapping to make it fit. There we go. And the reason why I do this is because on Twin Asuras. So on Twin Asuras, I'm range tank and I also switch the players. So when you're range tanking and you have to switch the players on the fly, it's a lot of stuff to process. Since range tanking, you're thinking about where their fire swords are, you're thinking about if you're stepping out the flowers, you're thinking about how to stay alive and stuff like that, right? But as long as I make sure that the parties are like in this format, what I usually do is I put the tanks at the very bottom and I put the keepers on slot 5. And so when we're fighting in the middle of a battle, and let's say that we only have one soul fighter and we need to do the soul fighter buff, I simply drag the tank on the opposite side, drag it into my party on slot 5, and then the soul fighter can do his HP buff. And then when that phase is over, I simply just drag myself and switch it with their other keeper and boom, we're done. And so it just makes my life easier. This is just how I like to operate. I like to do things left to right or right to left. I don't like doing it when the party's underneath down there and I have to like sort of play around with the roster. To me, that's just complicated. So it's up to you. It's really up to personal preference. But party 1 on the left, party 2 on the right. For me, this is how I operate things. Another thing that I do is I put this buff bar over here down right next to my HP bar. So this buff bar is pretty weird. It's so this icon over here is your soul, this is your weapon, and these are your accessories, which includes your bracelet. It's basically your bracelet. And then over here is your damage multiplier. So I like to look at this to know when I can use my big burst. So obviously some people look at these icons over here, like, you know, they see, oh, is my badge proccing, oh, is my bracelet proccing, etc. before using their big skills. But I don't look at any of these. I just look at the percentage over here. When this percentage goes all the way red and it's like 300%, that means all of my buffs are active, and I can see over here my soul's active, my weapon's active, if my bracelet's active. And immediately when I see this in the red or I see this 300% plus, then I know, okay, it's time to use my big moves. So on my fire gunner, I would use my tombstone, I would use my bullet storm and stuff like that. And that's why I don't really look at any of these icons. However, I put these icons here near the middle of my screen is because I still need to look out for soul burst. So in Twilight Temple, you know, there's a little icon that'll pop up, which is soul burst, and you need to see how many stacks you have, if you have 8 stacks, 6 stacks, or 2 stacks. And thus I still need to see that, so I leave that over here. And yeah, that's really it. I didn't really change anything else. That's about it. So this is what I do for my UI. This is the reasoning behind why I do certain things. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer them. But I did not change that much actually. I only changed my party settings, mainly because for raid leading, and I moved my buff bar a little bit more to the center so I can see them, and I moved this DPS thing to the left side of my HP bars. And that's really it. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate a subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the rest.